resource page for these resources, and that's on the GCE site. It's under Green Economy. On this page, we have materials about teaching and learning about green economy and sustainable development. I think a lot of the sustainable development materials that were developed very much align very closely with the green economy and the idea of identifying green economic activities. And so we've included resources from, with both of these kinds of reports and background information on this. So we have links there that will help the teacher learn more about this topic. The classroom modules and case studies about green economy, those are also located on the page. The online tools that might help students in doing a project or getting extra data about a project or comparing and discussing and exchanging with another classroom. We have two tools that we're going to look at today. The World Bank's International Human Development Indicators, which is a highly interactive site that allows students to do a lot of exploration with data. And then also World Mapper, which is another site which provides different ways of looking at the world mapped, but by values instead of just geography. And then ideas for youth exchange projects on the green economy. We're going to take a look at that also. So let's take just a second to look at the 5-step project. We're going to formulate a question, observe and acquire data, analyze that data, seek solutions or propose ideas, and then intervene and change or share that information so that people can start thinking differently. And this is the MyCOE approach that we've used in the MyCOE projects. So as you're thinking about these different topics that we go through, you want to keep this 5-step method in mind, because it's a good way to structure an investigation so that it engages your students. So let's jump out of this PowerPoint and take a look at, we want to go to the page in the website, which is the Green Economy page. And this is the list of resources, first starting with the UNEP Green Economy website. And I was able to find a lot of good resources there, including their frequently asked questions page about the green economy. And I think that one of the helpful things when you have a topic that's really broad, like green economy, is to have people think and talk about this within a definition or within a scope so that they can kind of start looking for the commonalities that make it something that they could talk about and exchange. So I think that this is what might provide teachers a really helpful background on that. Also, we have some resources here from UNESCO which are talking about sustainability and inquiry-based learning. And as you'll look through here, all of these resources are available and therefore teachers to explore. These are things that really we want the teachers to kind of look at, see if they're appropriate, and they can be models. Not necessarily that they're going to fit perfectly into everybody's classroom, but that you can look at this as a model and then think about it in terms of your school, your class, your curriculum, and then modify it or make make a workable solution for you that is your own. And I think teachers are very good at doing that. And so sometimes it's just having the examples or the models to view. And so we're trying to provide those, realizing that not everybody will actually use this as is, but will take it and use it as a model to learn more. And then I want to look at the online tools that we talked about. The first one being this interactive map from the World Bank. It's very interesting because there's a lot going on here. You have a lot of statistical data represented, including this timeline, which would allow you to step through and see changes in the data in 5-year increments. And you can also see a histogram of this data organized at the top, and this will give you additional information as well as finding and identifying the locations where things are at the time. So it's accessing databases at different times as well as providing you locational information. So when you roll over a specific area, now you'll notice that since 2000 we're incrementing at a different rate. This is a good thing to point out to students in that the time scales on this are a little different, and to make sure that they watch so they know which year they're looking at for data. Now, the development index is here's the information. It measures an average achievement in 3 basic dimensions of human development. And so I think this is also documented very well, the data that they're using, and what you might find as you start exploring this. Again, there's composite indexes, and then they also have additional data that's available. And your students might be able to look at this and decide in terms of a green economy which of these things are most important. We talked about some of those areas like fuel impact or forest area. If this is an area, this might be some data that would be helpful for your students to take a look at. Change in forest area in general, but also freshwater use. So there's a lot of data that's displayed in this particular resource. I think it's pretty well done too, in that it's amazing how much information is available just through this one interface. The second online tool that I want to talk about briefly is the World Mapper. And the World Mapper is a .org website. It produces maps that display the value in a geographic area. So it's a little different way to look at a world map. And it has a lot of map categories. They also have some that are animations. But if you take a look, there are some different areas. I've in reviewing this, already looked at the fuel and pollution, some of the different categories that they had. And I was interested in electrical production. And if we take a look at that particular map, you can see that, you know, which countries are producing a lot of electricity, which countries are producing less. It is kind of interesting to see just how that data is displayed by value as opposed to just the geographic space. So it kind of gives you a different perspective. If you look at some of these, you might even look at the difference in who's using a lot of coal in the world versus who isn't. And so I think that these maps, as students look and find their location, might be interesting to look at the sources of power or electrical energy in the world.